Welcome back to the Out of the Rough podcast. My name is Nate, and joining me as always is my co-host Jake. Jake, how we do today?
Nate, we're doing pretty good. Entertaining WM Phoenix Open, not as much entertaining Qatar Masters. I know that you had a good weekend with a parlay that was tipped in our Discord, so we'll plug that in after. But again, there was a big parlay that was shared in there that ended up hitting, so that was pretty cool for you. Um, Look, congrats to Chris Gotterup. He had the first round lead. He parred like 18 holes in a row in those middle rounds. He stormed up the leaderboard on Sunday. Hideki was lingering at the top, just could not find a fairway to save his life on Sunday. Dunks it in the water twice on 18, once on his normal round on Sunday, and then once in the playoff hole. He was pretty much done for after that. But yeah, congrats to Goddard, 2 wins on the season already. He is scorching hot. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the coverage of that event. I don't have some nice things to say about the event, but I'll let you get your 2 cents in, and then we can maybe talk about that a little bit.
All right, yeah, I mean, it made for a more exciting Sunday than we thought. Like when we first started it, we thought Decky was just going to run away with it, and it'd be another Decky masterclass we'd be talking about. And going to this on what was it, 54 hole leads, he was 5-0 in his career, so it's the first 54 hole lead he's ever lost. Yeah, again, made for some dramatics, made for exciting things. I know you're going to talk about something here shortly that, again, it's an event that isn't for everyone because of the way it is. It goes against anything and everything you would ever think about when it comes to golf, right? We have this whole anti-live movement because of the party atmosphere and all of this, and then the same people will go on and glorify the WM Phoenix Open, which is essentially the same exact thing. It's a it's a I don't know how to word this correctly. It's like a frat boys
Yeah.
outing, right? It's a real big thing. If you pan through the crowd, they all kind of look the same, dress the same, and act the same. Again, makes for some good golf once in a while. You get some interesting happenings we did there, and Decky had the event won, just couldn't hit a fairway, hit one fairway the entire round, and somehow was leading and lost in the playoff to Chris Gotterup. And again, kudos to Chris Gotterup. He is on a tear right now. He is scorching hot. He started the season 2 wins out of 4 events. Nothing else you can say about that. Played himself into some good positions moving forward, and one of those quote unquote snubs from the potential Ryder Cup team for the last season. So maybe that's a little bit of motivation that he's playing with him right now. But we'll see what happens to that. But yeah, Jake, I know you alluded to something you want to talk about right quick, and I'm sure we'll have a little bit of conversation about it.
Yeah, definitely. So I think when I first started following golf, I thought the WM Phoenix Open was fun, right? There was, people were getting a little rowdy, but it wasn't out of control. And I think over the last couple years, it's gotten completely out of control. The event has completely lost the plot where there's some iconic moments where Harry Higgs hits the putt for birdie, lifts his shirt up, and Damon takes his shirt off, and that's on 16, and they're having fun and like doing that whole thing. And I'm all for that. But then when it comes down to these guys down the stretch and in the tournament, like Hideki on 18 had people screaming in his backswing and in his putt, like it's to win a tournament. Like go have fun Thursday and Friday, like before the cut, like as it gets close to the cut line, like maybe tighten it up a little bit. But when it really comes down to the stretch on Sunday, it bothers me to not let these golfers just let them find their game and like just enjoy the golf that's in front of them. Don't be yelling in their backswing and distracting them because we want to see these golfers play at their best. And when you're distracting them and doing stuff like that, which they're not used to, it's just unfair to them. Look, do I think Hideki wins the tournament if people aren't yelling in his backswing? I don't know. I can't tell you for sure, but it's something that he's going to have to live with. And it's just, I don't know. I'm not sure if you saw the video on Twitter. There was some famous YouTube guy who paid someone to yell in
Yeah.
Mackenzie Hughes' backswing, and he got banned from Live and went on a whole tirade about how he's the only person in his generation who likes golf and how they're losing a fan. I I'm gonna hold my opinion on him because I've learned if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Take that as you will. But I think that the event has gotten completely out of hand in recent years, and they need to bring it back under control.
Oh, 100%. We see these, especially on Saturdays, we'll see that they're sold out of alcohol by 7:30 in the morning or whatever, or they're cutting people off at 8 a.m. And again, it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be this atmosphere, but what they've done is taken this atmosphere and ran with it, right? It's way over the top. It is beyond, it's out of control is what it is. You talked about it there. And again, there's difference where we go to these golf events, we're having fun, we're shouting, we're cheering, and then the second that someone goes to approach a ball, dead silent. Like,
Yep.
Ryder Cup, same thing. We're there, USA chants going crazy. The second someone approaches the ball, just deafening quiet. Like that's what it's supposed to be, and that's how it is. I mean, it's a different sport than most because you can't operate the same way you would with someone screaming at you, say if you're throwing a baseball or throwing a football or trying to catch a football. It's completely different, right? It just can't be done the same way. And again, maybe these people just don't know better because they're invited to this. I have friends that don't even know what golf is and they've gone to the W Phoenix Open. Like, I don't know if it's part
Yep.
of that or an adequate absence in the knowledge of the game and all that. But again, you mentioned it is getting out of hand. And again, I think as maybe just maturing, Jake, right? Maybe it's always been this way, but we were just young and, oh, this is awesome. We love golf. We love party. We love alcohol. Go for it. But now maybe we're just getting older now, Jake, where we're just like, maybe this event need to take a step back.
Yeah, definitely.
Could be a part of it. But all right, guys, yeah, we have that. I did take some deep dives into Live Golf Red Eye last week with Thomas Peters and uh, who else did I have there, Jake?
Uline?
Yeah, Peter Uline took him deep. Had a 54-hole lead, which is weird to say at Live now with the 4 rounds. 100 to 1 on Peter Uline, didn't get it done. Thomas Peters gave it a shout, didn't get it done. Some couple plays, 3-play finishes there, but yeah, a lot of golf across the thing. Same thing with Andrew on the Hotel Planner Tour, gave us another shout with a Tapio Pulkman, or however you say that. He had a run at it as well, and things are getting juicy. We got a lot more golf coming. We do have a break this week from the DP World Tour as we move from um, the Middle East and try to maybe get away from Patrick Reed's dominance over there. Where we go to Kenya. I know Jake and I talk so much about the Magical Kenya Open, how much we love that event. So that'll be the next week. But this week we do have just one event to talk about: the PGA Tours, AT&T Pebble Beach Pro Am. Again, an event at a historic golf course that may be done incorrectly, in my opinion, but we'll talk about that as well. But before we hop into things, Jake, where can you find you on social media?
Yep, you can find me on X at JakeOOTR, where I post all my outright betting cards. Make sure you give me a follow there. You could also join the Out of the Rough Discord, which is completely free with no hidden paywalls. We've got over 270 members now, from diehard golf fans to professional gamblers, all sharing insights, making it an awesome resource every single week. Nate runs our community wager tracker in the Discord, where he compiles everyone's picks into a clean list. It's great for seeing who the community is backing and celebrating the wins. So quick shout out to CDog74 and Superfan24 for hitting Chris Goddard at the WM Phoenix Open, and to L Gamble Golf for hitting Patrick Reed at the Qatar Masters. So good job on you guys. Also, Nate and I share some exclusive content in the Discord, including my tournament and round matchup plays along with Nate's first round leader bets. If you want the link to join that, please feel free to reach out to either of us. Also, don't forget to check out ootrough.com for our weekly articles. Andrew covers the Hotel Planet Tour and Corn Ferry Tour. Nate covers everything pretty much: PGA Tour, DP World Tour, Live, LPGA. Sorry if I forgot one, Nate, but I
I think
cover the
that's it.
PGA Tour, and also include DFS selections in there. You'll also be able to find Nate's shots gained putting by grass type, another completely free tool that's worth checking out. So if any of that sounds useful or interesting to you, head over to the website and check it out.
For sure. You can also find the Out of the Rough one and done on there. We have the PGA Tour and DP World Tour this season. Completely free, a fun little game to play along the way, help you maybe if you're not too well versed into either of those tours, helps you follow along without having much invested, and just a fun little way to get more involved when it comes to golf. You can check that on our website as well. Beyond that, you mentioned it. I covered the PGA Tour, LPGA Tour, Live Golf Tour, DP World Tour each and every week. Full in-depth breakdowns can be found on ootrough.com. Course breakdown, field and event overalls, as well as my full betting card. You mentioned everything else there, Jake. Discord, again, you mentioned Superfan24. He is the one that just posted a random, uh, it was a 3-ball, 10-leg parlay. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Right? I'm going to tail this guy. And went on to a hit, saved my week, and then some with that. So, again, not only does Jake and I post stuff in there, people post stuff all the time that usually I oversight. Forgot to mention, need to give a shout out to Andrew, who hit 100 to 1 first round leader on the Corn Ferry Tour with Christopher Del Soler. last week as well, and that was tipped in the article on otrough.com. So make sure to check all of that out. You can find myself, Nate, on Twitter or X at NateOOTR. Be sure to follow Out of the Rough and All from social media. Just search us on there. You'll find us. And again, you're listening to this podcast right now. So if you're listening to this anywhere, hit the subscribe button. If it's Spotify, Apple, and or YouTube, or I don't know if there's got to be other places you can listen to podcasts. We're out there, right? We're everywhere. All right, that should do it for that. So let's hop into things this week, and we talked about it already. The AT&T Pebble Beach Pro Am, and even if you're not a golf fan, if you mention Pebble Beach, you probably have some form of image in your mind. And this is one of the most historic golf courses in the not only country, probably the world. Right? Pebble Beach is known worldwide. We've seen some of the most historic and dramatic finishes and performances here. Think about Tiger Woods' performances here over the years. This has been the host of 6 U.S. Opens and a PGA Championship. And yeah, it's the first of 8 signature events on the PGA Tour season this week. Typically the second because Century was uh, canceled this season. So Pebble Beach takes that first slot. Of course, the $20 million purse, $3.6 million to the winner. And again, we're going to get the best of all the PGA Tour has to offer. What is unique about this one, though, it is a 2-course format, Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill, Thursday and Friday before the final 2 rounds at Pebble Beach over the weekend. And again, it's in the name. It's a pro-am, so you're going to have professionals and amateurs and celebrities, I guess you would say probably more so, playing alongside each other for the first 2 rounds. And then again, the celebrities and amateurs get out of the way for the professionals to finish off their event. Prior to the switch to the signature event in 2024, Monterey Peninsula was part of a 3-course rotation at this event. It's since been dropped, and the Pebble Beach has been part of the PGA Tour schedule since 1937. I don't know why we continue to have a multi-course and pro-am signature event at one of the most storied and historic picturesque golf courses in the entire world. I'm not sure why we're doing this to ourselves, but we still are here at this point. I figured at one point we would be dropping Spyglass Hill. I mean, Spyglass Hill is still a great and highly touted golf course and one of the best in the country. But again, we're talking, it's in the name, Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and we're splitting course between the two and having the amateurs there as well. But either way, Jake, the field this week, this is our first signature event. So to get into this signature event, it's the top 50 of the FedEx Cup standings from the 2025 season, the Aon Next 10 Fall Series standings, leading finisher from the DP World Tour race to Dubai a season ago, Aon Swing 5 through the WM Phoenix Open, sponsors exemptions, and the FedEx Cup Fall points list to round things out. Biggest storyline this week, I guess it's a storyline, but Rory McIlroy making his 2026 PGA Tour debut after spending the early portion of the season on the DP World Tour, playing in the desert. Same thing with Tommy Fleetwood, world number 4, doing the same thing, making his debut as well. And of course, Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, headlines this week's field. Although his best finish at this event was 6th 2 seasons ago. Scotty Scheffler standards, that's not too good.
Nate, we
Uh,
spoke about him at the American Express too, and that worked out well for us.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh gosh. All right. Being a signature event, we have, all the world's best. You have Justin Rose, Russell Henley, Robert McIntyre, JJ Spawn, Xander Schauffele, and Ben Griffin, of those within the top 10 of the OWGR playing this week. Of course, the most notable absentee is Justin Thomas, who is continuing his rehab from back surgery. McIlroy comes in as defending champion. He topped Shane Lowry by 2 strokes a season ago. Some other former winners, you have Wyndham Clark in 24, broke the course record along the way that was a rain shortened edition of that one. Justin Rose in 2023, Tom Hoagie in 2022, Nick Taylor in 2020, and Jordan Spieth back in 2017. It's also worth noting at this point, guys, that prior to the signature event status 3 years ago, no one played this event. This is kind of one of those easily skipped early season events that no one really paid attention to. But it's good to see this course on. I kept bashing it right there with the preview, but I love to see Pebble Beach. I love to watch Pebble Beach golf. It's just the way it's set up is what irks me. But yes, Pebble Beach and Spyglass Hill multi-course format. It'll be the last of the multi-course formats for the season, though. So until we get to the fall series, but either way, yeah, it's again pro-am, everything to talk about. But Pebble Beach, par 72 at 7,100 yards. It is one of the most infamous and picturesque golf courses in the entire world. Due to the angular hole layouts, Pebble Beach offers the shortest average driving distance of any course on tour. The average driving distance here falls around about 274, as the tour averages sits about 306. forces golfers to lay up off the tee, and completely removes any advantage that long hitters have off the tee. Also features some of the smallest greens in the entire PGA Tour, with an average area of 3,500 square feet, laid in a POA grass that is the same grass we saw a few weeks back at the Torrey Pines. The small greens add an emphasis on finding the fairways and then on quality approach play. To go along with the challenges, these small greens present Pebble Beach 2 yields one of the lowest greens regulation percentages on the entire PGA Tour, and that adds to the emphasis of strokes gained around the green. Historically speaking, Pebble Beach plays at zero point 0.9 strokes over par. So, Spyglass Hill, when it comes to typical multi course formats, one course is usually like super easy and one's semi challenging, along the way. That's not really the case this year or at this event because Spyglass can be harder than Pebble Beach if the conditions are correct. And yeah, Spyglass Hill, again, we talked about, is one of the most notable golf courses in the United States as well. But it features a 5 holes exposed to the coast, and outside of that is a tree-lined venue that protects itself from the elements. If the winds are to pick up, I mentioned it, Spyglass Hill can play more difficult than Pebble Beach. Plays as a par 72 at 7,035 yards and features 4 par 4s over 400 yards. Golfers must take advantage of those 4 holes during the round at Spyglass. The scoring average at Spyglass is zero point 0.5 strokes over par. Both courses sit along the coast, and if winds become a factor, golfers will have to grind out each and every hole. Weather looks halfway decent this week, though. But yeah, check in the add before we move forward.
No, I think you covered it all. Just keep an eye on that wind, especially if you're playing round matchups in
Hmm.
DFS and stuff like that. Scoring averages. I've taken advantage of a lot of round props where, they post the scores and oh my God, the wind is now howling to 20 miles per hour in the afternoon. You're going to want to hammer those overs. So definitely keep an eye out. There's a lot of money to be made if the wind starts blowing or doesn't start blowing. Uh, there's a lot of opportunity at an event like this at Pebble Beach.
Same thing if you're going to play the first round leader market, right? There are some
Yep,
times where wave splits are a real difference between morning weather and afternoon weather. This is one of those events where it really well could be the difference, right? We could have no wind in the morning or vice versa, and it could just be, take half the field out of the equation, right? Just like that.
exactly.
All right, so 5-man betting cards for both of us, Jake. The first two being crossover. So we'll kick things off here with our lowest odd recommendation, and that's Russell Henley. I'm playing 32.5. Where do you got him at?
I got him at 31.
31. All right. So I'm really high in Henley this week. And I mean, it's pretty. I joked about it when Jake and I were talking before the podcast. It's a positional golf course. Russell Henley's going to pop the models each and every time. He's currently fifth on tour and approach, ninth in birdie or better, 12th in par fives, 14th approximate hole from less than 150, 15th in par fours, 18th in grid regulations, 33rd in both driving accuracy and scrambling, 79th in strokes gained putting on POA, and 96th in around the green. Last played the American Express, where he finished eighth. He also played the Sony Open in Hawaii, where he placed 19th. He also placed fifth here at this event a season ago and 58th in 2024. Basically, that's it. This is a elite accuracy guy who has really good irons, can roll a good putter when he needs to as well. And we saw it last year with winning the API and being on the Ryder Cup team. He is a real talent in a field like this. Again, limited field event, no cut. And you're talking about a guy at 32, 31 who has this resume, this type of golf, game for this golf course, and a fifth place finish here a season ago.
Yeah, Nate, I agree. I mean, he ranked sixth in my model this week, and he proves last year, right, that he can win big events and
Mhm.
contend. This is now an elevated event. You've got the best of the best. That doesn't scare me off of Russell Henley anymore. I think you covered it really well. I think that this is just a really good opportunity for him to add the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am to his collection and get another win under his belt.
All right. And then, Jake, what's this? You can kick off this next crossover here.
Yep. So our next crossover is Jason Day. I believe we both have him at 48 to 1.
Yep.
Didn't rank too highly in my model, but it's the course history that cannot be ignored. He's played Pebble Beach 16 times in his career.
That's
Nate, you
insane.
mentioned it at the top of the hour. This was not a heavily attended event before a couple years ago. The fact that he has 16 rounds under his belt is just fantastic to start. In those 16 starts, he never missed the cut. He had 14 top 25 finishes, which includes 9 top 10s and 5 top 5s. So he has played this golf course incredibly, and he's played some rather decent golf in 2026. He started this season off with a runner-up at the American Express, followed that up with a T38 at the Farmers Insurance Open, What was noticeable in both of those starts? The irons. The irons were very, very solid in both of those starts. What do we know about Jason Day? He brings a very elite short game as well. So, again, pairing the game that he brings and the immense course history that he has, it can't be ignored. Almost 50 to 1 felt like something too big to pass up. On the season, he's third in strokes gained total, 104th off the tee, sixth on approach, 31st around the greens, and 15th putting. So everything is pointing for him to finally break through in his 17th start to finally get a win at Pebble Beach for him.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there with his approach play, and that's the difference so far this season. I know former world number one, and what was carried him for so long is that elite short game, and we see this out of a lot of Australians. Their short game down there is immense. They usually come with a plus distance off the tee with elite short games, and some of the world's best putters coming from down under there. And Jason Day's irons are popping to start this season, and that's the difference right now. Combine that with his course history, and again, just shy of 50 to 1. There was 0% chance of leaving on the board, and I'm going to assume he's going to be the most tipped golfer. Him and Russell Henley, probably, if you're trying to avoid the most tipped guys, those are the two you want to avoid this week. And we're just so happy to both be on him this week, Jake.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is going to be a quick podcast at this pace, Jake, but let's roll to my third play here where we get a little bit different, I believe. Third play for me, Taylor Pendrith, 75 to 1. Now, it's not been a great season for him. He started great at the Sony Open in Hawaii, where he placed sixth, and then he followed that up with two missed cuts back to back at the American Express and Farmers Insurance. However, he's been good at this golf course over the past few seasons. Ninth a season ago, seventh in 2023, and 49th in 2021. Currently 11th on tour and scrambling, 15th in par fours, 24th in proximity to the hole from less than 150, 27th on around the green and proximity to the hole from 100 to 125, 45th in birdie or better, 56th in par fives, 57th on approach, 65th in green regulations, 94th in strictly putting POA, and 149 in driving accuracy. I know these numbers are kind of skewed because there's been just a month of golf so far this season, and typically he's not that errant off the tee, in that 149 number suggests there, so I'm not too concerned about that. But again, good course history for a guy with two top tens here the last two planes, not the last two seasons, the last two planes. 75 to 1 here for Taylor Pendrith. Yeah, that's my next play.
Yeah, I usually love the Taylor Pendrith build, right? That bomber off the tee with good irons and a good short game. It usually leads to success. I steered away from him, which I might be kicking myself at the end of the week just because, like you said, the driving accuracy leaves a little bit to be wanted, especially at a course that neutralizes his power a little bit. But at the same time, when you're clubbing down off the tee and you're not necessarily using driver all the time, it's not all that important. If he's using his irons and woods, his accuracy is going to be way higher than it is with the drivers. So can't fault you for going there. And what we've noticed, even in his two most recent starts where he missed the cut back to back, the approach play has been good and the putter has been great to start the season. So I like the shout on Pendrith. I think it's definitely sneaky because I definitely think of him more as a power guy, but this is a place that he's had success and course history is important. So I like the call.
Yeah, and his two missed cuts, I believe they were on the number or right there around the number. They're not too far off. It's not like he's missing by 5, 6 strokes. He's either missing by 1 or 2 strokes on those two. So very well could have flipped the script and had much better finishes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving into my next play here, it's Matt Fitzpatrick at 40 to 1. He came in at 36th in my model, which isn't great. Generally, I don't like to look past the top 25, but this week I've taken a different approach. His recent form and style of play just in my head fits so perfectly at Pebble Beach. He started the season with a T63 at the American Express, which he then followed up with a strong T9 finish last week at the WM Phoenix Open. If we rewind a little bit before that, Fitzpatrick was extremely impressive on the DP World Tour. He recorded four top 10 finishes in his last six starts there, including a win at the DP World Tour Championship, which Nate, you were on. Add in his solid course history at Pebble Beach, which is highlighted by two top 15 finishes in his career. I think that this is a perfect storm for him to bring his game together. He's started the season really strong across the board, gaining everywhere. What do we know about him? Very good player in the wind, very good ball striker, very good short game. That's all the boxes that I needed to be checked to consider Fitzpatrick this week. I thought 40 was a very big number. On the season, again, just a few starts, but 26th in strokes gained total, 29th off the tee, 22nd on approach, 30th around the green, and 122nd putting. He's lost with a putter in two straight starts, which is very uncharacteristic of Matty Fitz. So I'm looking for him to turn that around, but I couldn't ignore a 40 next to his name.
No, I definitely took my long stare at Matt Fitzpatrick this morning when I was placing my card as well. Love to play, love how he is flipping himself into some excellent form. And what we know what this guy is, once he catches form, he kind of maintains that for quite some time with the way he approaches and carries himself, with his studying the game and all of that. So it's going to be a great play. And again, a good course history as well. All right, so my last of two picks, I guess you could say the penultimate pick here, is Sam Stevens, 90 to 1. And, he's been great to start the 2025 or 2026 season. Excuse me. He played each of the first four events, placing 35th last week at Phoenix, 30th at the Farmers Insurance, 6th at the American Express, and 31st in Hawaii. Currently 15th on tour in par fours, 28th in scrambling, 37th around the green, 46th on approach, 48th in green regulations, 50th in birdie or better. 72nd in both driving accuracy and strokes gained putting POA. 78th approximate the hole from less than or from 120 to or 100 to 125. 79th approximate the hole from less than 150 and 119 in par fives. Um, yeah. So again, he is playing good golf. He has the stats to match up with it. And yeah, just kind of riding the hot hand here with Sam Stevens. And, admittedly so, I'm kind of a Sam Stevens guy. I've played him a bit last season and just been a guy that I've placed a bit of a wager on. So 90 to 1 in this field, I think was that bad for a guy who's played four events, made the cut in all of them, and is playing some good golf.
Yeah, Nate, he's in my DFS player pool this week, and I love his stat profile. Is he going to get his first PGA Tour victory this week? I think time will tell. I think that he's a talented golfer and certainly can win golf tournaments. I like him more as a DFS play, but that being said, he is so well-rounded. He's going to be a guy that I have to look at week in and week out, and I know that you do the same with him.
Yeah.
So he could be successful at any course. It almost feels course proof, but we'll hold that term for a little bit. But like you said, he's improved immensely. He's played this tournament twice. He went T34 up to a T17 last year. He's been playing some good golf to start the year, so I like the call.
There we go.
Alrighty, moving into my next play, Nate. I mentioned him on the pod last time before when you asked if I had any closing remarks. It was Ricky Fowler. He was like 40 to 1 last week, and we talked about how ridiculous of a number that was. His odds doubled this week to 75 to 1, and he had a T18 finish last week. So I don't think it warranted his odds doubling. I know that the field definitely got stronger, but I couldn't ignore it because I liked him last week, didn't play him, and now I'm getting him again. And I like him equally here. He ranked second in my model, which is just crazy. Two guys ranked above Scotty Scheffler in my model. I don't know if that means that there's
Uh-oh.
flaws, but it's Tommy Fleetwood number one, Ricky Fowler number two. So, I mean, there probably are flaws. I should probably reconsider it, but until now, I'm sticking with it. In 2026, he started with back-to-back T18 finishes, like I said at the American Express and last week at the WM Phoenix Open. I'm hoping that that momentum carries over. He's a really well-rounded golfer that should play Pebble really, really well. His short game has been great. I believe he's like number one in scrambling to start early this season and around the greens. So that's super important this week. Like you said, small greens, not a lot of people are going to be able to hold them. So chipping in a proximity to a hole around the green is going to be really important. Um, he's just one of my favorite golfers. I think he's playing really good golf. Do I trust him down the stretch if it's him against Scotty Scheffler? Maybe not, but at the same time, I think he's a super talented golfer playing some really, really good golf at 75 to 1. He's 32nd in strokes gained total, 72nd off the tee, 18th on approach, 143rd around the green, and then 44th putting. So, again, I just think that there's a chance that there's a lot of meat on this bone that I'm not willing to pass up.
Yeah, what made Ricky Fowler so great when Ricky Fowler was Ricky Fowler, I just said Ricky Fowler 100 times there, was he was the best putter on tour for quite some time. I don't know if people remember that or realize that he was number one in strokes gained putting for a long time on the PGA Tour. And I think he's getting back to that. He looks more confident on the greens, especially the last few times we've seen him going out there. And you combine that with what was always been and always will be a competent approach game. I think you have a recipe for success, especially at a golf course like this.
Yep.
All right, Jake, final play for me this week is JT posted 105 to 1 here, plus 1050. Currently fifth on tour in green and regulations. He's eighth in proximate hole from less than 150 to 150 yards. 15th on approach, 22nd birdie or better, 31st in par fives, 33rd in accuracy, 37th approaching the hole from 100 to 150. That should be 125, excuse me. 52nd in par fours, 127th in strokes gained putting POA, 157 in scrambling, and 175 around the green. Again, we're in a limited field with 100 plus one to, odds. You're going to have a bit of mulling over here. JT Poston, what does he do? He is an elite approach player, an elite iron player. You're going to get that week in and week out of JT Poston. And just if the rest of the game's going to come along with it, I mentioned there with 127 strokes in POA, not great. He does have some, plus accuracy off the tee, which does help here. It's going to come around the green. It's limiting those mistakes, maybe limiting some more chances there when the strong approach play to, hold those greens. He's top five or top six on the PGA Tour right now in grid relations. We're going to need that to carry him this week because, again, he's just pretty bad around the green. We can actually say awful. He is among the tour's worst when it comes to that. So you just got to hope that maybe he spikes, he finds something that works, he hits a wedge early that takes a favorable bounce and rolls within a couple feet just to get him going and get that interest sparking in him. Because beyond that, when it have irons as good as JT Poston, you would assume he's competing more often than he is. It just the rest of the game is dwindling down. But 105 to 1 for one of the game's best pure ball strikers and iron players on the PGA Tour has to offer. Just couldn't leave that one out there.
Yeah, Nate, you're not getting the perfect golfer at 105 to 1, but JT Poston brings a game that should be successful here. As you mentioned, it's almost like a Walmart version of Russell Henley. He brings that
Hmm.
accuracy, those elite irons. He can get the putter going. It'll come down to that around the green, like you mentioned. I like the shout. 105 in a limited field event. That's a big number. No cut to worry about.
Yep.
Just got to find some scores. You can go super low one day during the week and you find yourself in contention. So, I like the call on Poston. He's a three-time PGA Tour winner. That's not insignificant, right? So I like the call there at that number.
Awesome.
My last play here, also 105 to 1, is Alex Noren. I've had his name circled for this event since he got hot on the DP World Tour to end last year. He ranked 49th in my model. Again, horrible. I do not look past 2025 on a normal week, but he was a guy that I've had circle, and I'm going to trust my gut from just the eye test and what we've saw over the past couple weeks from him. There's no avoiding the fact that 2026 has gotten off to a rough start for him. He missed the cut in his only two starts so far, and that's exactly why the odds are what they are. It's also worth remembering that prior to those events, Noren was in great form. He won twice on the DP World Tour. He added multiple top 20 finishes around that. He's played Pebble Beach four times in his career, two missed cuts, a T32 in 2020 and a T26 in 2024. But the skill set is exactly what I'm looking for. The accuracy off the tee, the consistently above tour average irons, and elite short game. So I think that his game matches up really well for this course. I'm looking for him to build off of that DP World Tour form, not the start to his PGA Tour season that he's been having. 105 to 1, I think, is just a huge number on a guy who ranks 87th in strokes gained total, 91st off the tee, 41st on approach, 132nd around the green, and 100th putting, sorry. Again, he's known to have an elite short game, and those short game numbers are rather ugly. But at the same time, he's coming to a place where he should be able to find his game and be successful.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, before the start of the season, he was everyone's pick to become the this season's first time PGA Tour winner. Won the PGA Tour or the DP World Tour, excuse me, last season. Gave it a run in the fall series there on the PGA Tour. Got real close. Was really hot. And, again, if you talk to anyone, one of the hottest golfers in the entire world at the time, we're not far removed from that, right? Maybe the pressure of, oh wow, I really could win on the PGA Tour after spending, we've seen it so long with Tommy Fleetwoods and all those guys, Cameron Young's. Alex Noren's kind of in that category at this point, right? Maybe not to their standard or their quality, but he's not far behind. He's a really good golfer and been doing this for a long time. Just a matter of time. And again, he's one of your guys, right? So if you're getting your guy across the finish line at 105, it's an added bonus.
Yep, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, that rounds out this week's podcast. Next week, we move on to the Genesis Invitational, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then, of course, we already talked about the DP World Tour. We'll be back for the F Asia. No, I'm kidding. The
Oh,
Magical Kenya Open. We talked about that all the time. One of our favorite events. It's fantastic to watch the wildlife while you're watching golf. Love that one each and every season. And it's, I just love to hear our golf and places you wouldn't typically think of, right? You don't think of Kenya as a golfing hub or anything like that. So you love to see the true DP World Tour, the World Tour is in the name there, really taking it to them and traveling the world doing so. But yeah, Jake, before we do hop off here, we're on social media.
yep, you can follow me on X at JakeOOTR, where I share all my outright betting plays. I'd also encourage you to join the Out of the Rough Discord. It's 100% free with no hidden paywalls. The community includes 270 plus members and is an excellent free resource to have at your disposal. Just reach out to Nate or myself, and we'll get you the link to do that.
You can find myself, Nate, on X at NateOOTR. Be sure to visit ootrough.com for all of your fantasy golf and golf betting needs. And until next time, guys, we'll see you.